Sup? It's Hallie! Welcome back to Liberation! I'm trying to leave it on the volume a little higher, just in case it's quieter in-game than it is on the main menu. We'll see how that works out. But anyway, when we last left off, we got isekai'd into the game, and now we gotta go to the club, I guess? Whoa! Disorienting was an understatement. One moment I'm in a dimly lit room with stale air, and the next I'm in the brightly lit outdoors filled with fresh air.
Hey!
That's Sayori? I mean, of course it is, but I still can't really believe what my eyes are seeing. I see her running toward me from the house across the street, waving her arms frantically in the air as she does so. As I watch her fumble with the gate on her fence, I can't help but get flashes of the horrific turn of events that ensued in the previous iteration of the game. I know I should be grateful that Monica doesn't have that influence anymore, but that also doesn't mean the underlying issue is gone. Sayori is still suffering from depression. Such a sweet, happy-go-lucky girl such as herself is still hurting so much inside. I was drawn to her character, well, every character, because I could identify at least partially with what each of them were going through. I'm not sure if this world has therapists, but if it does, I hope I can convince her to see one. Okay, time to put my game face on, literally.
I overslept again! Bye, Kai, this time!
It's a pretty surreal experience seeing her face to face like this, as opposed to being through a screen. Hey there, Sayori. How are you doing?
Don't act like you're worried about to leave without me! That's mean, Hallie!
Of course not. I wouldn't leave you, and... what the hell is wrong with me? Why would I say that? And how did she know my name? Sorry, I mean I wasn't planning on leaving without you is all.
Fine. I guess you did wait for me after all. You don't have it in you to be mean even if you want to.
Maybe. I can be mean sometimes if I have to be. I make a pathetic attempt at an angry face, but it just turns out silly. We cross the street together and make our way to school. I let Sayori take the lead a bit since I obviously don't know my way around here. This is certainly not a perspective I'm used to, although I sense I'll be thinking that a lot while I'm here. As we draw near, the streets become increasingly speckled with other students making their daily commute.
By the way, Hallie, have you decided on a club to join yet?
Oh, duh, that's right. I've been so deep in thought about what I should be doing I didn't even realize I wasn't technically a member yet. I try not to let on that I'm both surprised I forgot and not surprised about the invite, lest I give away my power of foresight. A club? I'm not sure, to be honest.
You told me you would join a club this year!
I meant I wasn't sure which club I wanted to join, but I'll definitely join a club. It seems cruel to manipulate Sayori this way by pretending I'm not interested, but until I can figure things out, I can't risk anyone waking up and crashing the game. I wish I could tell her that I was interested in reading. At least that would be mostly true, and be a good segue for her.
I was talking about how I'm worried that you won't learn how to socialize or have any skills before college. Your happiness is really important to me, you know. And I know you're happy now, but I die at the thought of you becoming a NEET in a few years because you're not used to the real world.
Real world. The irony. That wouldn't be neat at all. Sayori groans and forces a small chuckle.
Hallie, I'm serious. You trust me, right? Don't make me keep worrying about you.
Alright. I'll look at a few clubs if it makes you happy. No promises, though.
Will you at least promise me you'll try a little?
I literally just said, ugh, those damn puppy dog eyes. Yeah, I guess I'll promise you that.
Yay!
This is a weird feeling interacting with her, when just a day ago she was nothing more than a fictional character. Character. More than that, seeing her actual smile and carefree attitude is incredibly infectious. How is she this charming? As we approach the school, I make a mental note to myself. I need to make it a point to give her more reasons to smile. It occurred to me, when we entered the school, that I should probably at least try to look like I belong here. That being said, I felt pretty out of place when Sayori basically led me to the lockers, and I didn't really know where mine was. I'm pretty sure it's just LED, you don't need the A, whenever it's LED past tense, because this is like lead the metal. Luckily, she bought my I'm half asleep and I can't remember excuse. Well, kinda. I grabbed a few of the original game's MC's things that I think I might need and stuffed them into my bag, or into a bag I had on me when Mr. X teleported me here. I watch Sayori as she goes to open her locker, and not really to my surprise, a bunch of disorganized papers and I'm assuming wrappers fall out.
I guess I need to clean up my locker, huh?
Not really, if you're a pack rat, that is.
Maybe.
As I stand there and wait for her to finish cleaning up her locker's refuse, I stare at the throngs of people going about their daily lives. I wonder how they'd react if they all just suddenly woke up and realized everything wasn't real. Mass pandemonium, most likely. Probably don't want to do that. I'm still pretty in awe at my surroundings. If I hadn't known any better, I'd think it was just a normal day at a normal school.
What's wrong, Hallie?
Sayori's question snaps me out of my reverie. Oh, nothing. I was just lost in thought.
That's okay, I get lost in thought sometimes too.
Just sometimes? I say with a small teasing grin. I couldn't help myself.
Meaniest meanie. You don't have to say it like that.
I'm joking. She really is adorable when she acts put out like that. I'm beginning to think that's intentional. At any rate, we head off to our classes, of which I had no idea where mine were. Luckily, I didn't even have to ask, since Sayori pretty much led me right to mine, since it was on the way to her own.
Thanks for walking with me to school. It really felt like old times again.
Perhaps for you, but for me this was all still pretty new, but I humor her all the same. Yeah, it was really nice. That part was definitely true. Just then the school bell rings. Sayori looks as though she just realized she's late to class.
Oh, sorry, Hallie, I'll talk to you later.
And with that, she runs off, nearly tackling several people along the way. This is going to be an interesting day. The school day is actually kind of boring instead. Everyone around me looks so real yet acts robotic, basically like they're scripted. What's more, I think the teacher is speaking another language, yet for some reason I can understand it. It seems to be a variation of Japanese. Take that, Duolingo. I don't need to study, I just need to have my brain hijacked Matrix style. At any rate, the lesson is pretty basic history, but it seems to gloss over some of the finer details. Not sure if that's the teacher or the code's fault. After I pack up the MC's things, I stare blankly at the wall, contemplating everything that's happened thus far. Mr. X. I still don't know if I completely trust him, but at the same time he does hold all the cards. If only I had some kind of leverage. It was about this time that a familiar voice jolts me out of my stupor.
Hello?
Sayori? Sayori must have come into the classroom while I was spacing out. I look around and realize that I'm the only one left in the classroom.
I thought I got you coming out of the classroom, but I saw you just sitting here and spacing out, so I came in. Honestly, you're even worse than me sometimes. I'm impressed.
Ah, yeah, sorry. Guess the lack of caffeine today is just really hitting hard. Oh. I remember now that she wants to ask me about joining the club. I suppose I could humor her. Are you here to make sure I go check out some clubs?
Oh, I thought you might need some encouragement, so I thought, you know...
No what?
Well, you could come to my club. Yeah?
I mean, I could really use a nap. Is there a napping club?
Me!
You said that twice. No, thrice already today.
Oh, it's true.
Sayori looks at me dejectedly, though I can tell it's mostly for show, and I do see the faintest smirk playing at the corner of her mouth. Okay, you want to make this a comma and put these two sentences together. That doesn't work. To her credit, she has the sad puppy dog eyes down. Must resist. Yeah, I'm going to take a nap.
Come on, please.
Am I to assume you want me to join a specific club? One that is of the literature variety? She shifts uncomfortably and giggles a little.
Well, I kind of told the club yesterday I would bring in a new member. And Natsuki made cupcakes and everything.
Ah, well, if there's going to be cupcakes... For now, at least, I have to make sure she thinks this was her idea. I mean, it technically was and is, but still, I feel like a spy or a double agent. I make a sarcastically long sigh. Fine, but at least some of those cupcakes better be chocolate.
Yes, let's go!
And thus, today marks the day I sold my soul for a cupcake. Sort of. Maybe kinda literally. I'm still not sure how all this virtual mindscape thing works. I follow Sayori across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I know all too well, at least from a certain perspective. It's odd seeing it from the other side. As we walk by other classrooms, I can see some of them have people inside, presumably doing club activities. There's one that has a podium with several students engaged in a passionate debate over geopolitics. That's either the debate club or a student UN council thing. In another room, I see there are a bunch of art easels set up, likely for an art club of some sort, but there only seems to be one person in there perched on the window ledge. She has the wildest red hair, short like a boy's haircut, and although I only caught a brief glimpse as we walked by, it appeared she was eating a sandwich. With her feet? That's interesting. I'm guessing this is a reference and I'm just not getting it. At any rate, we've now come to a room that will always be etched into my memory. Sayori, full of energy, swings open the classroom door. Freaking out.
Everyone, the new member is here.
What the hell was that? What just happened? Apparently nobody else seemed to notice that the room just suddenly glitched out.
Welcome to the Literature Club. It's a pleasure meeting you. Sayori always says nice things about you.
I try to recompose myself as best as I can from what I can only describe as a PTSD flashback. Could Monica still somehow have access to the code? Normally, I'd be desensitized to this sort of thing, but experiencing it firsthand is an entirely different and creepy experience. I shake off the concern for now. I'll have to worry about that later.
Seriously? You brought us stray? We have enough as it is.
I raise an eyebrow at Natsuki, still just as soon as ever.
Ah, Hallie, what a nice surprise. Welcome to the club.
I haven't had much time to think about it, but what if Monica knows it's not really me? Or worse, she becomes obsessive again. Is she self-aware? I can't get the images out of my mind of the things she did, and yet I don't know that I could entirely blame her given her circumstances. I also don't exactly know if there would be a discreet way to gauge her sentience or not without giving myself away.
What are you looking at? If you want to say something, say it.
Sorry. Apparently I was so deep in thought that I was staring blankly at the group. I quickly recompose myself and try not to make eye contact with Monica. It's been a long day.
Natsuki.
Natsuki really is the epitome of tsundere, though if I'm being honest with myself, I really like that about her. Now, I know that's not really shocking as the archetype exists for a reason, but to actually experience it in a way that is endearing rather than off-putting is nice. I'm also kind of surprised that her small stature was not exaggerated. 1 G, 2 R's. She is several inches shorter than I am, and I'm pretty average for my age. It's a pretty stark contrast to Yuri, who is actually a couple of inches taller than me. It's even more noticeable when the two are standing next to each other.
You can just ignore her when she gets moody.
Sayori says that quietly into my ear, then turns back toward the other girls.
Anyway, this is Natsuki, always full of energy. And this is Yuri, the smartest in the club.
Don't say things like that.
Yuri bashfully fidgets with her hair as she says this. My eyes immediately go to the two things that have been on my mind the most since seeing her. Her arms. Knowing that she's concealing something like that makes me feel terrible, like as if I read her diary and invaded her privacy. Ah, well, it's nice to meet both of you.
And it sounds like you already know Monica, is that right?
That's right. It's great to see you again, Hallie.
You too, Monica. I try desperately to hide the anxiety in my voice.
Come sit down, Hallie. We made room for you at the table so you can sit next to me or Monica. I'll get the cupcakes. Hey, I made them. I'll get them. Sorry, I got a little too excited.
Since you're doing that, Yuri, do you need any help getting the tea set out, or... My blood freezes and the color from my face drains. Everyone else stops as well and looks at me. I'm an idiot. Yuri hasn't mentioned anything about tea yet. I got so into what we were doing, I wasn't paying attention. I'm not supposed to know that yet. I glance over at Monica, who is sharing in everyone's bewildered look, but there's definitely a hint of concern and curiosity in her eyes as well.
Well, how do you know that Yuri keeps a tea set in the classroom, Hallie? Have you two met before?
I take a deep breath, steady myself, and say the first thing that comes to mind. No, I just figured based on this being a literature club and having snacks, tea seemed like the most logical choice. It was a lucky guess. This seems to satisfy most of them, but I can tell Monica isn't quite buying it. Although I'm still not entirely sure if she's still self-aware, judging by her reactions, I'm starting to suspect she might be. She looks like she's about to ask me something when she's interrupted by Yuri.
You're a very astute observer, Hallie. Yes, I do keep a tea set in the classroom. Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book?
I guess that's true. Plus it goes well with cupcakes. She smiles gently while Natsuki rolls her eyes.
Then how about I make that tea?
The girls have a few desks arranged to form a table. As Sayori mentioned, it's been widened so that there is one space next to Monika and one space next to Sayori. Natsuki and Yuri walk over to the corner of the room where Natsuki grabs a wrapped tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Sayori. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand.
Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! Whoa!
Natsuki lifts the foil off the tray to reveal a dozen white fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. The whiskers are drawn with icing, and little pieces of chocolate were used to make ears. This is going to be an interesting experience, eating something for the first time in this world. I wonder if they taste as good as they look. This is a sentence fragment. Put a semicolon here, or a comma, or whatever. It can't be two sentences.
So cute!
I had no idea you were so good at baking, Natsuki.
Well, you know. Just hurry and take one.
Sayori grabs one first, then Monika. I follow.
That's delicious!
Sayori talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn the cupcake around in my fingers, admiring the realism, how it feels, looks, even smells. I start looking for the best angle to take a bite. Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. This is amazing. There's actually taste, and what's more, it's fantastic. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I'd expect nothing less from her. This is really good. Thank you, Natsuki.
Oh, why are you thanking me? It's not like
Haven't I heard this somewhere before?
remember you or anything.
Oh, my bad. I just assumed since Sayori mentioned...
Well, maybe. But not for, you, dummy.
Alright. I give up on Natsuki's weird logic and dismiss the conversation. Yuri returns to the table carrying her tea set. My heart sinks a little when I see it because it reminds me of my slip-up earlier. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. Each ceramic cup is white with a gold trim and a mauve-colored flower printed on the side. The design really seems to complement Yuri's style. This tea set is beautiful. I like the floral print design on the cups. What kind of flowers are those?
They're lilacs, my favorite.
Ah, interesting. I would have bet lilies.
Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. That's not.
Insulted, Yuri looks away.
I meant that,
I can't help but smile a little seeing her get flustered like that.
When I was growing up, every spring these lilac bushes in our front yard would bloom and produce the most wonderfully fragrant scent. My mother planted them when I was born, so they remind me a lot of her.
Actually, come to think of it, I don't recall ever hearing much about her parents, or anyone's parents aside from Natsuki's dad in the original game. This is definitely new, and by the looks of it, Monika thinks so as well. At any rate, I should keep things moving. I believe you. Well, I may not be as well versed in reading as the rest of you, but I at least enjoy tea.
I'm glad.
Monika moved, and I was like, threw me off. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monika raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me.
So, what made you consider the literature club?
I was afraid of this question. I don't recall offhand what my character said in the vanilla version, but I can't just say something that would tip my hand. You can make this a combine these sentences. And something tells me I shouldn't tell Monika that I was practically dragged here by some mysterious voice. Then again, having an ally could be an asset, provided she's willing to cooperate. What's more, even if she did know, she shouldn't have the capability of messing with the game anymore, right? She might even be able to help me. Or she could be this mysterious Mr. X for all I know. Oh, lowercase. This is, of course, assuming that she's self-aware. I could test that theory. I need to think fast. Should I say something that would let her know that I know?